show and tell. We know that a lot of you are still joining, so we're going to give you a few minutes to get connected, get your audio, video, everything squared away. We do have the Q&A app launched, so you can ask questions inside of the Hangout, and you can also tweet those at us at BadgeChatK12. And my name is Jared. I'll be kind of co-hosting today with Nate. I'll let you introduce yourself a little bit too.
Cool. Thanks for inviting me, Jared. I'm Nate Otto. I'm from Concentric Sky. We are the manufacturers or developers of the Badger software platform, which is an issuer and backpack provider for open badges. We have an integration with Canvas that we'll be talking about. And I was really happy that I was able to collaborate with Jared on getting the Badging with Purpose course run last week. It's a great time for a retrospective on that.
Yeah. Well, it looks like we'll still have some people coming in. We don't have a lot of people in yet, but yeah. If a lot of you who tune in every week, you're expecting to see Noah Geisel. He'll be joining us here shortly, and be great to have his expertise and skills running things like this when he gets here. So
yeah, I've not been in the driver's seat on one of these Google Hangouts for quite a while, at least not in this BadgeChat K12 format. So good welcome to Noah. I guess for anyone who is online, check out the BadgeChat K12 hashtag. There, of course, is the announcement of the Digital Badge Summit in Colorado on June 24th to pay attention to. I believe if you get in by the end of the month, you still get early bird pricing, $99 to go to that pre-ISTE event.
Are you going to that then, Nate, as well?
Maybe. It's on Badge Alliance, which I'm also the director of the Badge Alliance. I'm here sort of mostly with my Concentric Sky hat on today, but that is an official Badge Alliance event for 2016, and so we are sponsoring it. Although I still have to actually give them the sponsorship money. But I may not make it because I'm actually leaving for Copenhagen the next day for a 3-week European residency.
Wow.
I'll be packing, but I might be able to make it to the Open Badge Digital Badge Summit in the meantime. In any case, the Badge Alliance will be represented. We will send somebody, and then we'll try and get someone from LRNG as well. Although actually Kylie Pepler is keynoting. She'll be well representing the LRNG community.
All right. Well.
So give us a quick overview of what we're going to cover today on the chat, starting in a few minutes, Jared.
Yeah, so my plan is to cover just kind of getting everything squared away, making sure I have all the tabs open, but a little bit about my background maybe as well as we're getting started here. But I am a solutions engineer with Instructure, CanvasLMS, and I've been a classroom teacher for 15 years. I was a tech integration specialist for 6 of those years. And badges was always kind of an interest to me. We used badges for professional development. And I started teaching we called it Badges for Learning course. And I made it open and public and had a few people join. Just real quick, Noah's sending me a quick message. I think he's got the info he needs, but yeah, I started teaching at a Badges for Learning course about a year and a half, 2 years ago, and had some interest here in Utah mostly, where I'm based, and then it kind of grew from there. And I started working at Instructure, started teaching a few more courses here. And it grew into what we call the Badging with Purpose course. And really what we wanted to talk about was the reason for badges, not just the technical side of how to set them up and use them in a course, but the why and the rationale behind them and what open badges give or contribute to the learning community beyond your learning ecosystem. So that's what this course was all about. I'm going to run through an overview of how it was set up and what we tried to accomplish. I'll share some examples of some student work, some comments from students. We had some really good conversations there. So we'll run through the course as a whole, talk about the badging systems that were built in, and maybe some of the comments and features or comments and contributions from some of the students as well.
Sounds good. There really was some great discussion on that forum.
Yeah, for sure. So we've got a few viewers. I want to make sure real quick that Noah's got the link. And then we'll get going. But yeah, I'm hoping he's got it here. I think we'll just jump in.
Sounds good. I sometimes there's some difficulty joining these Hangouts on air, but hopefully everyone's doing good. If you are having any trouble joining the live, whatever, then you wouldn't be listening to me. I'm going to post on Twitter that if folks are having any trouble joining, they should just ping us back on Twitter, and we'll try and help troubleshoot that. But in the meantime, I think we probably can go ahead and start chatting a little bit.
Yeah, there is one comment in there, mention at us. All they see is the Google RSVP. Where's the chat? So I just want to make sure
that thing is a pain.
That we've got the link there.
So the link is in your most recent tweet. Let me
look
into it and see what it looks like. Well, I see my face. That's cool. Okay, I'm opening up the events page on Google Hangouts, and I see a live video. Yeah, okay, cool. I can indeed join the live video from the page on Hangouts. So, and we are live. Right. I saw my own face.
Very good. I'm going to start a screen share. So those of you who are here, I'm going to jump into our course. And hopefully that gets to all of you. Nate, if you'll just confirm you can see my screen going off into the distance there. We good?
We're set.
All right. So this was the Canvas course. Again, it was meant to be an overview of badging, open badges. The summary there, we try to be creative with that, but basically, we're saying badges are amazing, and being able to award badges for things you're already doing inside of your learning experience, with whether that's a learning management system like Canvas, or Kate showed some amazing badges that were integrated with Google last week. And so wherever you're learning and teaching, being able to integrate badges with what your students are doing, with what you're teaching and student learning outcomes, that gets even better. But the thing I was hoping to avoid when I got started with badges is just having another distracting digital swag piece. I wanted it to be meaningful, something that students understood the why behind, and teachers as well, and that we could all kind of learn together and figure out how these badges work inside of this ecosystem. So the course was set up and ended up with 7 modules, 7 learning modules that the participants of the course, all teachers, tech integration specialists, LMS admins, they ran the gamut from K-12 institutions through universities, special institutions, further education if you're overseas, but we had an international audience as well. I know we had a couple from the UK, participant from the Netherlands. So we started with this conversation inside of our learning modules here. There's a couple things to get started, but we started with this idea of why badges, and this is probably where I'd spend the most time just giving an overview. But every discussion started with an article, why badges. This one talked about empowering lifelong learners through using the use of micro-credentials, why that matters. When I talk about why badges, these are the reasons that I like to give in this slideshow that's running down here. Connecting directly to learning outcomes. We already have those in our classrooms, but connecting a badge to a real learning outcome, I think that's the #1 reason to use a badging system, and it does set you up for a nice structure for awarding badges if you're working from those learning outcomes already. We already know what that structure looks like, how those outcomes either build on each other or connect to each other. But there's some other reasons kind of scrolling through, and I can share this slideshow as well. I've got a public version that I can share if anybody'd like it as well.
Do that.
The next part of the course, yeah, and I can throw that link in the chat somewhere along the way. Maybe tweet that out later. But then this is where the conversation got really interesting. We talked about digital badges versus open badges. And this is something that I'm still new to. I started with digital badges. When I started with the badging system, it was class badges. It was for an app development club that I was helping to run. So we were able to award students badges for these experiential learning projects that they would put together, things that they would build in, it happened to be MIT's App Inventor that we were using. So we had badges tied to those skills. But those were inside of a single system. Students couldn't use those outside of that class badges system, really. So I was quickly drawn to this idea of open badges. And maybe, Nate, I'd let you jump in and talk about open badges versus digital badges. You're definitely the expert here.
Yeah, well, I can provide my perspective, but like you said, the discussion there, the scroll bar got real tiny in my browser because so many people weighed in, and you were talking all about the different capabilities of various different badge systems, including, of course, those built on the Open Badges specification. So for anyone who is new to badge chat, you may be new to the concept of what an open badge is, but you probably by now know what a digital badge is. A digital badge is a visual symbol of accomplishment as expressed in an online-friendly image format. Very similar in lineage to the cloth and embroidery badges that people would sew on their backpacks or sashes or vests in times past. Digital badge, just is the online version of that. And then we talk about the distinction between a digital badge and an open digital badge. The Open Badges specification, which was founded by the Mozilla Foundation around 2011, is a common language for data about educational achievements. It's a way for programmers to be able to pack some metadata, some information about exactly what you did to earn a specific achievement, and a name, a description, and all sorts of interesting information about what a digital badge actually symbolizes in more than just the visual language that the image file represents. And the cool part about packing data into an image file is that that data becomes portable to wherever you can take that image file on the web. So you can post open badges on your own website, and the data is right in there along with the badge. You can post them to social media, share them by email, build them into job applications. And the information, the criteria of what it takes to earn that badge, information about who awarded it, and of course the verifiable record that you indeed are the individual who earned that badge. It all comes with the badge wherever you take it. That means that you can combine your open badges into a single, what we call a backpack account, which is software that manages them on behalf of an earner. You can combine open badges from any different open badge issuer around the web, and there are thousands of open badge issuers. And so when we talk about bringing digital badges into a Canvas course, if you use a tool that like the ones in the course, embeds the open badges specification into their tool, then those badges that you earn can be taken out into wherever you would like to go manage those badges, and then build them into your job applications, share them out to whatever community that you're talking to around your accomplishments, and that community has this verifiable record of what you did.
Yeah, and I would say that's a great summary, Nate. Thank you for that. And I would say that's for me, that was the biggest thing, being able to transfer that verifiable record of what I had done, my credentials. I didn't want them to live inside of that single learning system or inside of the district or university that I attended. I wanted those to go somewhere, like a university certificate or diploma. Or, I can move that somewhere else, and it's recognizable. It's got value. So open badges, and the conversation is fairly new, but the conversation is one where we can start to issue badges in one system, and they can be recognizable or verifiable in other systems or places. So my teachers could learn how to use Google Apps for Education and move to another district, and we'd know that they had those same skills that we were looking for in our new district. and be able to hire them with an understanding of what their skills were. So that's one of the strengths of open badges for sure, to me anyway, that they have real life meaning. When we talk about it in classes that I taught, we'd call that authentic learning experiences, where the things they were earning and learning meant something beyond the classroom, right?
Right. So, I mean, there were some really fabulous comments from the class participants. Kyle Beimfor, I hope I'm pronouncing his last name right, had a really useful comment. He was saying that the distinction between open badges and just closed or just regular digital badges doesn't mean that those closed badges don't have any value. They can definitely be used to help waypoint achievements within a single learning context. Help you work your way through one learning pathway. Within Xbox, it can help you and other users on the Xbox Live platform understand what are the cool accomplishments that your friends are doing. Which games are they playing, and are they really good at those games or not? But you can't take those accomplishments out into any other communities or connect them with people who are not already bought into that Xbox Live ecosystem. Whereas with an open badge, the world is your oyster. You can take those badges out anywhere that understands open badges, and we're seeing a fast growth of platforms. Small ecosystem so far, but fast growth on the places you can actually go take those badges and turn them back into some kind of value in a wider community.
Right, and some of the validation I've seen around open badges, or just badging in general, that I don't know if some would be familiar here with the Horizons report that had badges on its list as an important ed tech trend to watch in 2014, and it stayed on the list for 2015, and it kind of dropped its partner gamification, but that badging and digital credentialing idea stayed, and so it's definitely something that is on the minds of a lot of educators right now. So
another point is that, the name, I'll let you move on in a sec. The name badging is often carries some connotations that doesn't work perfectly in every community. Some professional communities feel that a badge underplays or undersells the value of the very serious certifications that they've achieved. And in those cases, go ahead and call it a certification or a certificate or a micro-credential. But if you use the Open Badges technical standard, you empower the credentials or certificates that you're awarding with the portability and verifiability. It's important to use that open standard in order to give your users empower them with the features.
Yep, I like it. I'll show real quickly a couple more parts of the course. We won't have time to go into all of it. There is a question here: is will this course be accessible after the fact? Or get into that Zoom again, but the course is accessible. I'm a little hesitant to have everybody just jump in and enroll. This was a large course. It was larger than any course I'd been involved in. This the first discussion here had over 100 posts, and I tried to read every single post. I think I got through almost all of them. But that first discussion had over 100 posts to it. There were about 85, 90 users in the course, probably half of those active. It's pretty typical for online courses, but I can share it publicly. I got to figure out a way to do that, but I will say that we're going to teach this course again with some of the feedback from teachers, I guess the people who were students, the teachers who were students in this course. We'll take their feedback and build a new version, and we'll launch it in this coming summer is the plan. Maybe on our canvas.net, which is the MOOC platform that's part of Canvas, or it may be another CanvasLIVE version of this course that, again, is open and open to the public. You don't have to be a Canvas user to join, but we will get it out to everybody, whether it's right away with an open public version of this course or a second iteration coming soon. So a couple of the things in the course, we had, how do I get started with my badge system? Again, that's that outcomes to skill mapping. How do these badges interconnect? Do they interconnect? Are they stacked one upon another, kind of like a bracket? Or are they, flat and they run across and they're very linear? I've got to go this, then this, then this. So we talked about those and had people share some ideas. I will say this course went very quickly. Version 2, we're going to spend more time, dive deeper, share more ideas. Because I think there were some deep conversations that just went a little too fast for me. But again, still great conversations. We talked about quality badging systems. I'm willing to jump in here for a minute and give a shout out to some of the friends that we had here. I don't think I got Kate's example in. I meant to for sure. I talked about the App Development Club. That's kind of where I started. These were our digital badges were connected with the class badges system. I talked about a Canvas training that we helped build. I've got some great contacts and friends that I've met at ISTE and a few other places with the SAGE initiative and the Go Open initiative. These are open education curriculum resources. If you're scared to jump into open badges and sharing things across multiple systems, the SAGE initiative people are fantastic. They can help you get your courses online in an open ecosystem where not only is the badging system open, but the course content is open. It's a pretty cool tool. The Aurora Public Schools, Noah's got a great badging system built in his district. I was looking for great examples, came across these great looking badges, got looking deeper and realized I was looking at everything that Noah had built. So fantastic work from him. There's an education technology, instructional psychology and technology badging system that's built at Brigham Young University that I've had a couple friends work on this project that has badges that are stacked and layered and lead to a bigger credential in an education technology endorsement. So we shared some examples of those. Again, just kind of a shout out to those, Noah and all of those people who contributed. I'm going to add Kate's example. I think that's a great example as well. And then we talked about badging platforms, what's available in Canvas. I've earned badges. Now what do I do with them? And I do want to talk about that a little bit. So we had a badges tab here in Canvas that was powered by Badger, and these are all adult learners, so I hope I'm okay showing names. If I've got to come back and blur some things out, maybe I will. But we had learning objectives.
And you're showing the teacher's view of that. You're logged in as a teacher on this view. The students also have a badges tab, but it's a different experience for them.
Yeah, and when the students experience it, they can keep their badges, their name anonymous from the rest of the class. I'll show you what this leaderboard looks like in a little bit. But yeah, this is the teacher view. I can see the objectives. I can build new badges for different modules or parts of the course. The students don't see the module list. They only see the badges that have things created for them. Let me refresh that page. I can't get out of that little link there. But then their progress bar is listed here. This is where we may see a student name pop up. But I can see the students' progress through the course. You can see that I've got lots of students in this course, and I'm tracking their progress through. But I also had a leaderboard, and this was something that was brand new. The Badger had just launched when we started. It was a pretty cool feature right off the bat. Piqued people's interest. This course wasn't really built for a long-term leaderboard type course, but it was definitely a cool feature that got people's minds running. So we had people who had participated in all of the modules. They earned their badges. They show up at the top of the list. It may not be visible on your screen, but we've got slippery cormorant, mammoth, monotreme. But it gives the students an animal pseudonym so that they're anonymous to the rest of the class, and the teacher can see who each student is so that they can track progress that way. But that was one way that we shared badges, was inside of a course. Nate, do you want to add anything to that? This is the Badger product, so I'll let you go.
Right, so this is the teacher's view of the leaderboard, brand new feature that we just launched right before the start of this course, and we've had a bunch of really useful feedback so far. One thing to note, this is a free integration. Anyone who is using Canvas can sign up to a free account for Badger.io and add this integration. The Badger server product itself is an open source badging solution, although at present the Canvas integration is limited to users of the Badger.io hosted platform. But I think you pretty much are showing most of the features there. If let's see, teachers have a couple extra actions, but we have a whole unit in the course about how to use Badger, so it's we don't need to go into all the particular details right on this call. Anyone who's interested can either join the course and see that Badger content, and we will be, we created the instruction manual for using Badger in Canvas for this course specifically, but we're going to repackage it out there and show it, make it open to the public, even folks who aren't enrolled in the course, in the coming week or two.
Very good. The other way that we tend to share badges, and this was the part that we talked about a lot in the last version, the last iteration of this course, the badges for learning course that I've taught. Badges for, or badging with purpose, when we came here and started talking more about open badges, I'm not sure how this slipped my mind, but open badges have the ability to be shared across systems. One of the great comments that I saw from this open sharing idea, teachers were earning badges inside of the system and then sharing the link to the public profile, not necessarily this portfolio page that, again, is still kind of part of Canvas, but they were sharing more like this. So I can share my badging with purpose badges. This is my Badger.io open collection of badges. So this is my public collection of badges that I can share. And so I could submit this collection of badges to my superintendent, principal, relicensure program person. I can submit these as part of my tenure process. So that I've got this collection of badges that, again, have meaning. And what, again, was pretty powerful about this is I can see the individual badges, the requirements for completion, links out to what this course was about and where did this come from. And you set all of this up. So this is where this course comes from. This was the information about the course and how to join and what it's going to be about. But I also have links to the criterion and the requirements for completion. And so all of those live here. And I showed how to package this inside of a Canvas ePortfolio, but you can also take your Mozilla Open Backpack and embed that on any website. So these are my Mozilla, an example of some of my Mozilla Open Backpack badges. This is just, again, one collection, and collections are the open badge terminology for those groups of learning. Sharing individual badges is possible, but it usually happens inside of a collection where I'm putting things together in a like say a group of learned skills. The Credly collection, I think it's called a it's got a different name and I just lost it, but it's a similar idea where I've got my Credly badges I can embed and share to any site. My Badger badges, we just shared that. That's, again, the embedded version of that site, of that badge list that's in my website. So these badges not only can go live on your website, they can be open and have all the connections to the issuer and the criterion that was required to complete them, but they can also be shared on your other social profiles. So you can share these on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, so they're part of your resume and other public profiles where you share what you've learned with other like-minded learners. So that was the real power of the open badges. They can stay internal, they can stay in your system, and they can be used to track learning inside of your district, university, college, whatever it might be, but they can also go beyond, and that's what we started with in this conversation today, and I think that's kind of a good place to kind of wrap up and maybe jump into some QA, unless you've got anything you want to add to that as well, Nate.
No, that's great. I guess I will note some great visual improvements are coming to Badger around June of this year, so stay tuned for that. Noah had a good question that he sent to us on this Hangout here. He just wanted a quick run through of what are the learning outcomes of this course, and was there anything surprising to you that you felt people learned that you didn't necessarily even intend for them?
I think the most surprising part to me through this course was that I worried initially that teachers would feel overwhelmed, and I guess the most surprising part was while it was overwhelming, there were so many people willing to tackle the issue, tackle the idea. So you can start small. We said this a few times throughout the course. You can start inside of your own system, inside of your own space. But I think what was cool is, just what we tried to do was give everyone who participated in the course the tools to go beyond that when they were ready. And that was the most exciting, most intriguing part. I really wasn't sure how this was all going to be received. The last version of the course was very technical. It was just how to set up, how to design a badge, how to use the badge designer tool, kind of a technical how-to guide. This was much more theoretical. There was some technical parts, but that was the most exciting part to me. This conversation is growing, and we've got a great community of people who are willing to take on the conversation.
Cool, sounds good. And we do have a second Q&A question from Don that I may recommend we actually take a whole half-hour badge chat K-12 in the future to answer, which is what are some ideas for methods to convert closed digital badges to open badge programs or realign open badges to new assessment contexts. But if either of you want to take a quick stab at any of that before we close today's call, feel free.
And I would just kind of restate, when I started working with badges, it was in a closed system. It's through that process of reevaluation and reflection on your own practices and teaching, especially, that I kind of came to the point where I realized we could go with open badges, make that as an option. Maybe we don't talk about it a lot. Maybe we don't advertise, publicize, and say, hey, these can go anywhere. But we have that capability built in. So when I started with badges, it was with a product called Canva badges. I knew they could go to Mozilla's open backpack. We didn't talk about it a lot. We didn't share that very publicly with teachers when they would ask and make inquiries about what and why these badges were. Then we'd have the conversation. But I didn't really have my whole head around that yet, and I think I still don't. I'm still trying to figure out what does my role inside of the institution where I work now, which is Canvas. What does that look like in comparison to all the other learning that happens inside of our institution? And so that's a bigger conversation that we haven't really had yet here. And so I think everybody's in a similar spot. I want badges and certifications or incentives or whatever my reasons for badges might be. I want that in my classroom or my department or my school or district or college, university. But that part is doable, it's manageable, but I'd say when you start with a system like Badger, Mozilla's Open Backpack, Credly, those systems can take your badges beyond, and it's not a big leap. My first open badge that I earned, I think, was from participation in Badge Chat K-12. I earned it in Credly. I think it's on my Credly badges list even. So this one, yeah, my badge chatter came from Noah, probably a year and a half, 2 years ago when we first chatted. I think it's been about a year and a half, but it's doable, it's growable. I'd say just pick a system and move your badges to that open platform, Credly, Badger, Mozilla's Open Backpack. There's a couple others, Open Badge, Passport, I think it's something else. But there's a few tools out there to make it happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And to I suggested we spend a whole half hour sometime exploring Don's question there.
Sure.
Because I think there is a lot to get into. Specifically, and the badges standard can respond to the need to have people transition their systems from closed to open as well. And so there are developments going on in the standard community that will make it easier, and the integrations between different tools in the open badges space will help make it easier. And then in many cases, as you say, you don't necessarily need to, as a teacher offering open badges, to transition your thinking all the way over from closed to a brand new thing for open. You can continue using digital badges in the same way that you might have been using them before with a non-open badge tool. Our leaderboard is an example of a way that the badges can function within one context and give you valuable information and insight into what is happening in your learning environment and your community that doesn't actually require any of the open badges features. But then, because those badges are open and students have the ability on their students just download that and take that wherever they want or share directly to social media, they have the ability to discover new uses for those badges that the teacher didn't even have the ability or responsibility to imagine.
Yeah, I like that. Well,
cool. Well, thanks for joining us. I think we spent a good solid half hour and had a few good questions, and then it's important to note this video will be available later on for people to watch on YouTube.
Absolutely. We'll see y'all. There's Noah. I'm going to let his face take us out. We'll chat later with everybody. Thanks for joining us. If you have questions, hit us on Twitter or ask questions anytime later in any other future chats. We're always there. Thanks.
Thanks for inviting us.